Hello and welcome to Ben's Paint Workshop. Today we're going to paint a Krieg bust. This model is 327% of its original size, and it's been sanded and primed a couple of times with Rust-Oleum 2X grey primer, then hit with an ultra matte black, and then a Zandri dust on top. Zandri dust is sort of going to act as a zenithal as we carry on through the paint work. So right now we're just applying this blue wash to the overalls. It's basically a mix of Macragge blue and Abaddon black, mixed pretty much 1-to-1 with water, giving a fairly sort of milky consistency, I guess you could say. And then basically just going to go all the way over the overalls. I run out, had to make another batch. That's alright, I started with not much. So I'd like to point out a couple of things. I'm not using a wet palette, I'm not using fancy brushes. I'm just using a piece of paper, mixing my paint on that, and just using pretty standard run-of-the-mill brushes, nothing fancy at all. Please excuse the 9 times speed of the video. Thought, who wants to sit here and watch me slow paint for 3 hours when we can get through this in 20 minutes. Right, so we're just about to change over to Abaddon black. As you can briefly see there, and do all the under the neckline, pretty much parts that won't be seen. Here we're just putting it Abaddon black all over the gun. Again, at the start, it just doesn't matter. You can be as messy as you like. We can still fix stuff up. Now we are going to apply Zandri dust without any thinning down onto the face mask area. Okay, now that's done, we're going to take a crappy warehouse brown, which is probably like a Walmart or something equivalent, some Abaddon black, mix them together, get a nice yucky brown going. The base colour here doesn't matter too much, as when we apply highlights, that's really going to bring out the detail. Just going to hit the backpack now with our yuck brown. And, let me know if I should have music playing in between rather than just silence. Cheers. Okay, now we're going to apply some Liberator Gold into the eye sockets. Bit of Zandri dust, clean up around the mask area. Now we're going to get some warehouse brown and apply it all over the straps as a base brown. throw it all over the backpack as well at the back. Don't be worried about the brightness of the brown. We're going to tone it down. Then we're going to flick over the yuck brown patches with a dry brush, and the light brown really softens that out. Probably see it more so here on the backpack. Then we're going to hit the metal areas with some straight lead belcher. Almost on dry, but not quite. These techniques can easily be applied to smaller miniatures, and I'll show you once we do a few more videos on painting some Warhammer 40k models. Can't forget his brown straps under the chin. At any point we can grab some of our base layers and touch up where needed. And we just got some lead belcher on a smaller brush and just touching up some of those finer details. Blue touch-ups. Just want to show you here, my wet palette is a piece of paper. Now just going to incorporate some of our yuck brown onto the straps and bring those sections down a little bit. Here we are going to chuck some Gehenna's gold into the eye sockets just for a little bit more pop. And some wraithbone for his little skull detail. Here we'll just throw some Abaddon black into the helmet and add some Liberator gold onto the crest of the helmet. Just going to add some Corax white in here. We'll hit that with some Tesseract glow later. And I think we'll just make this button red. A little bit more pop. Right, now we're just going to make our own wash with Lamium medium and some Memphiston red. And apply that into the eye sockets. Just going to act as like a glaze for a wee bit of depth. And now it's time for some gold buttons. Liberator gold, that is. Some gold detail up here on the gun. Sort of progressively as it goes on, we're getting tidier and tidier with how we apply it, making sure to not sort of go back over anything, even though it's easy enough to touch up if we do. I'm going to throw some Corax white onto the sleeping bag on the backpack. Here we're going to whack in that Tesseract glow over the earlier white, just for a bit of interest in his wee pouch. Decided here to change to Balthazar gold. Wasn't really happy with the Liberator gold up there, so just go over it. Kind of keep the graininess, so it's just adds to it. Now we are at the stage of washes. We're going to liberally apply Nuln oil all over his blue overalls. And now for the Agrax Earthshade over all the metal areas and pretty much everything else. Right now we're going to come back as the Agrax Earthshade is drying and apply a stipple effect. This breaks it up, takes away any streaky lines, and looks quite good as sort of rusted old metal in my opinion. Please excuse my New Zealand accent. I also have a bit of a cold. I'm too worried about streaky lines on this. When we highlight later in that, it's going to give us the effect of linen, so won't hurt at all. Here we're just going to take a clean brush and take off a little bit of excess. Here we're just going to take a mix of Abaddon Black and water and throw that into the damaged metal areas. Now it's the next morning and we're going to start the dry brushing. Just going to come in with Krieg blue, just go over a few bits of the overalls there. Then we're going to highlight our leather sections with a bit of the warehouse brown. This is where I find you really get the detail popping out once you've done a good highlight. Now we're going to hit some warehouse silver and go over all of our metal parts. Here I spotted a pesky white area on the gun, so just sorted that out with some Abaddon black. Gold button highlights. So Xandri dust highlight over the face mask. Then we're going to do like a rust grey highlight over the overalls just to bring them out a little bit further. Now at this point our bases washes and highlights are pretty much complete. So we'll just whack a little 143rd Squadron decal up there on the coat. Then we're just going to whack some Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra Matte Black on the stand. And varnish our model with a matte Rust-Oleum 2X clear coat, completing the paintwork. If you've stuck around to the end, thanks very much for following along, and we'll see you in the next paintwork. Cheers.